One thing that makes movies different from books is, well, you guessed it, storytelling through images. Ah, a train. That was close. Another is storytelling through music and sound design. Now, let's see, what's a good example of a movie with great images and sounds and music? No, if I start talking about Dunstan Checks In, a great inside joke we all understand, would be here all day. So I know we'll talk about Star Wars: A New Hope instead. It's a movie so good it's better than a lot of other Star Wars movies.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Okay, so some Star Wars movies have bad scripts and bad acting.
Luke!
Okay, even New Hope has some bad writing and acting and bad moral insight.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
The point is, nobody's watching a Star Wars movie for the script. I mean, if you think about it, Luke Skywalker went from this to this in like, what, 20 minutes? But the real thing I wanted to talk to you about today was music. Like I was saying, Star Wars may not have the best script or acting, but it sure does take you into another world. Remember this moment here? Of course you do. And here's the thing about this moment. The script doesn't actually matter. In fact, I've got the script right here, and it just says, the giant twin suns of Tatooine slowly disappear behind a distant dune range. Luke stands watching them for a few moments, then reluctantly enters the doomed entrance to the homestead. And that's it. That's all it says. If you read that, you'd have no idea how powerful this moment is, or what it signifies in the movie. Actually, if you just keyed off Mark Hamill's performance, you wouldn't know either. I mean, okay, you kind of get it, but boy, you match the image with the wonderful music, and then John Williams' theme tells a story, and okay, Mark Hamill's doing a little work too, but the scene goes a long way on the strength of its images and music alone. It's not telling, it's showing. It's making a promise to you, the viewer, that the story to come, well, it's going to be epic and dramatic. It's telling you who Luke is too, that he yearns for something different, something better, to grow up, to see the galaxy, to go on an adventure. We know all of this thanks to a couple evocative shots and some pretty awesome music. Some movies, a character has to sing an entire song to tell you what they want. Or just explain it in words.
I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Star Wars does it in a couple shots with a wordless theme. So that's the power of music in a movie. The music in Star Wars is better than the script. It goes a long way to make you buy into the world building. Now, we've shown a clip from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly before, but what you should notice this time is the music's role in telling you that this is, well, kind of the most awesome thing ever. Silence would do one kind of thing. Silence might make it suspenseful, for example. Here's another lead up to a gunfight in another Sergio Leone movie. here in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the music is making this moment awesome. It's noble, it's heroic, it's a moment of justice. And good thing, because the movie actually doesn't have any heroes in it. Clint Eastwood plays an anti-hero, an amoral guy who comes on the scene and deals death to bad guys. The whole joke of the movie is that Clint Eastwood is only a tiny bit better than the ugly, who's only a smidge better than the outright bad. Yes, there are shades of bad and ugly, but they're all kind of scumbags living in a scumbag world. Not to hear the music tell it, though. The music tells you they are gods among men. Here's another famous theme that may not be as upfront as you think. Yeah, Indiana Jones, the great hero with great hero music. The serial, fornicating, xenophobic mass murderer who is willing to kill or be killed to gain artifacts that probably aren't worth human life. Actually, is anything that Indiana Jones does all that noble or heroic? I don't know, but the music sure makes you feel like he's a hero. Speaking of heroic music, yeah, that great action hero music from Marty McFly in Back to the Future, a guy who is kind of an action hero, maybe in some scenes, some of the time. Think about how much the Back to the Future music makes the first movie, which is mostly a high school comedy, feel like some kind of grand adventure. I mean, okay, sure, it has some grand adventure to it, but not as much as the music tells you. In the opening scene from another famous Western, High Noon, we listen to a song about a man who has to survive a duel in order to marry the woman he loves.
Oh, my darling, on this our wedding day.
It's a cheerful melody with weird percussion, and as we listen to it, the images are introducing us to the bad guy and his gang of ne'er-do-wells. Now, what's the effect of that? What if we just had suspenseful music that made you feel a sense of menace and unease and said, "These are the bad guys"? I don't know, something like this. With the obvious bad guy music, you'd actually lose this interesting effect of juxtaposition. The bad guys are being juxtaposed with this kind of upbeat, kind of melancholy sort of song, which makes you wonder even more just, who are these guys? What are they up to? It challenges you, it throws you off your game, which makes you not know what to think, which in this particular case is actually more creepy than the movie just saying, hey, these are the bad guys, they're bad. So once again, the music is changing the way you experience the story. Speaking of juxtaposition, how about we end with one more clip? This one from the most famous space movie before Star Wars, 2001: A Space Odyssey. In this scene, we're watching a space station orbit the Earth, along with a rocket and a satellite. And the director Stanley Kubrick used the famous Blue Danube, a waltz by Johann Strauss. Now, there's a sense of humor behind Kubrick's choice of music here, because a waltz is for people to dance to, and this waltz gets really lively, but the scene just has big pieces of metal floating through space. We do see a few people eventually, but they're not dancing. Everything is moving really, really slow. But there is actually an idea of dancing, isn't there? The spacecraft, the planet, the moon, they're all kind of in a dance, and especially the space station, which is slowly spinning like a dancer. Using this music for this stuff creates a weird effect. And 2001 is a weird movie. And we can't talk right now about all the interesting stuff it does, but I hope you get the idea that you can use movie music to do a whole lot of different things. Okay, actually let me show you just a few more clips because sometimes that effect can be really bad. Yeah, kill those guys. Revenge. They're scared, they're fleeing for their lives. The music, it's so fun and so poppy. Yeah, it's super cool to be ridiculously powerful compared to everybody else, so might as well kill them all. And the music is really cool. And yes, James Bond is super cool. Being a serial fornicator is awesome. Having a billion women is super romantic. Thanks, music.